Okay, we're back. The Dudes of Horror. We're continuing our Purge series with the second movie in the franchise, The Purge, Anarchy, which was also directed by James DeMonaco. Came out in 2014, and this was somewhat like an answer to the fans in a way, because the main criticism that the first Purge movie was getting was people wanted to see what was going on in the streets, like in the big cities during the Purge. So with Anarchy, you get a better glimpse of that. And the main star of the movie is Frank Grillo, playing a character like you said, it's like very similar to the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hadn't thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He wants to avenge his son's death, so he's trying to. His character essentially is trying to work his way through the city to get to the house of the man responsible for his son's death.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then along the way, he meets up with different groups of people who, through different circumstances, get stuck outside on Purge night, and they all kind of end up having to band together and work together to make it through the night. So, what do you guys think?
Well, in regards to the Punisher, like I really didn't think about it, but now that you brought it up, it kind of I see where it makes sense. But
Yeah, like as soon as I saw Frank Grillo or Sergeant with the weapons,
mm-hmm.
and then like the sun, like the picture of the sun and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, he's out for revenge.
Yeah, and you see him loading the guns, the different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought part 2 was a lot better than part 1. They did expand on the Purge. You actually do kind of see it more so, especially like with the trucks going around and the what's his name, like
the one with the machine gun, right?
Yeah.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
I was like, really? That's him? Like,
I remember seeing that and I was like, I don't I think that's above a class 4 weapon. That's illegal.
what was it?
I don't know. Would it be?
Yeah,
Would it be
but I mean, it's like that gets into one of the things about the movie that I was kind of like.
Yeah.
Like he's working for the government. He's working for the NFFA.
So it's
like,
okay.
Because not enough. Like that's like one of the premise of like, or one of the what do you call it, like the plot devices for part 2 for
Mm-hmm.
Anarchy is that not enough people are participating in the Purge. So you actually have like these bands of like really highly trained like government, SWAT teams, troops, like going throughout the city and like gathering up people and actually killing people.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the working class or the homeless, whatever, however you want to say it. Like, I don't know. It's just it's not as.
They didn't really write that well.
It's just not as interesting as I think like James DeMonaco predicted that it would be. Like, and like in this movie, not as much as some of the other ones, because the Purge Anarchy is actually my favorite one out of the existing ones in the franchise, the 3. But it's still James DeMonaco gets too heavy-handed with like the political undertones of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just really like hitting you in the face with it, and it just like I see his point, but
It didn't need to be like the big thing, I think.
It did. He didn't have to hit you over the head with it.
Yeah, because you even had like, for what I consider it reminded me of the Black Panther Party. Like, you had that other side with, what's his name?
Carmelo
Jones. Which was cool, but I was like, okay, like.
I wish whenever it came to that character, like, cause you see him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see him like, on videos.
Yeah, and the
stuff
daughter's
like
kind of like agreeing with what he's saying.
Yeah, and then you see him actually like fight, which is I actually like that. Where
I like that
he's
part.
he's a fighting leader.
Yeah, he's not just talking.
Yeah, and so he's actually there in the front lines fighting
Mm-hmm.
for what he believes in. But I wish they could have like elaborated on that a little bit more, like in the third one, which they kind of do. They kind of do because they have this whole area in part 3, which we'll get into in the next video, where they're helping all the people, like the injured and stuff, and
Yeah.
and they're they plan to assassinate like the NFFA. So they've grown, but I wish they could have focused on that character more.
Unlike the background, why?
Yeah.
Why he's like that.
Yeah,
Also.
yeah, because you can in part 3 especially, you kind of hear like just in passing, oh well, he took after Carmelo Jones,
Yeah.
a few years later,
Yeah.
But in terms of this movie, I did like it a lot better than part 1. I like the fact that they kind of expanded in terms of what you actually see on Purge night.
Yeah, I agree with you, and with Damien too. This is my favorite one out of all 3 of them, and
Yeah.
they do expand more. And I think I
Mhm.
mentioned that in part 1. I was like, I wish I could see more outside,
Yeah,
and you do get to see that action. I really did enjoy the action.
yeah,
To me, I just wish, like I said, like before, that this is like my guilty pleasure franchise in like the horror genre. But I just wish it wasn't so heavy-handed with the political stuff,
Undertones.
mhm.
like the political metaphors or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that you were just given like I had a friend of mine tell me that the Purge Anarchy reminded him of that movie Judgment Night,
yeah.
the one with Emilio Estevez. And
I remember that movie.
I haven't seen that.
And Dennis Leary.
It's typical '90s like action schlock.
Yeah.
But it has Dennis Leary, so it's cool.
Yeah, and the Purge Anarchy is like it goes towards a lot of those tropes and stuff, like the '90s action. Like,
Yeah,
and I just wish, like with these movies, you could just get a straight horror movie, like without so much, heavy-handed political references and like.
Yeah, because I think it starts from part 1.
yeah.
But it
'cause
wasn't as much. But this one, yeah, I do see where you make that
yeah,
point.
yeah, because everyone's indoctrinated, or almost everybody's indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And then I was mentioning before, like it almost comes to the point where I'm like, yeah, they're like, you can tell like, oh, they're killing off the poor and they're killing off, like
The
the
homeless.
minorities and the homeless,
Yeah.
and it's like there's a bigger agenda. Like they try to make it seem like it's all well and good, and it's for, it's like, oh, it's for the greater good,
Yeah.
but really deep down it's just so they can get rich and stuff like that, which is fine. Not in principle, no, it's not fine, but in terms of the movie, like the plot of the movie,
Yeah, it's a movie.
yeah, in terms of that, it's fine as long as they didn't just bash you with it.
Yeah.
Like if
But
they would,
it actually becomes what the movie's actually about.
And it
Yeah.
leads on to
Like-
part 3 also.
Like if they could touch on that and reference it, like maybe, in passing, like here,
okay.
here
Yeah,
and there in the movie.
if they were subtle about it, yeah.
But these movies are actually like, it becomes what the movies
It's
are
centered
about.
on them.
Like, which I get what James DeMonico's trying to do, because he actually wrote these movies too. But I just think it would be a better horror movie, if you were actually just introduced to like a plot within what's going on with all of the
Different purposes.
nationwide chaos in terms of what the NFFA is doing.
You know what would have been cool is that if he planned to make like a trilogy, or now like a quadrilogy or whatever you want to call it.
Jesus.
Yeah, like basically a franchise.
Yeah, franchise.
Like what would have been cool is that you have these major plots where it's about these characters trying to survive, but then you kind of have these snippets of like what the government is doing, and well, in the third one, like I said, we'll get into that later, but in the third one it kind of really hits you over the head with it. But in part 2 it would have been great, even in part 1, you see these subtle things of like, oh, so
And
this is what's happening behind the scenes.
And they don't really reveal too much either, you know?
Yeah, that would have
Keeps you
been,
like,
that would have
okay,
been
I
cool.
see, yeah, I see that side.
It's
but
like,
then-
oh, that's why they're doing that.
And-
See, and I think part 2 is the one where it's the most subtle in terms of like the political aspects of what's going on, which makes it not a great movie, but the best one in my opinion of the 3 existing.
And I will say this though, in terms of the characters themselves, like the main protagonists, I will say that in this one they didn't piss me off or anything. Like you can buy that by happenstance they just meet up, you know, and now they have to survive the night.
Yeah.
But at least they didn't do stupid shit. You know, where you're like, oh damn it, now you're gonna have them like.
Like it wasn't a circumstance like with the, I forgot her name, but the couple
Mhm.
where the rat touches her and she,
Yeah.
like she didn't do it on purpose. It was like, oh okay, you know.
Yeah, like
And it
she-
wasn't dumb because she didn't know. She
Yeah,
just
like-
freaked out.
Yeah, she freaked out,
Just normal.
but it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't like, ah, you idiot! Like now they're gonna be in danger.
Yeah, and then
You know, it wasn't like that. Like one guy hurt, Frank Grillo or Sergeant kills him, and that's it.
And that's
That's
it. And they
it
continue.
resolved itself. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I liked, and I also liked the fact that the characters weren't just typical one-dimensional, you know, almost like Eli Roth characters. Like,
yeah, there's
like-
just gonna be that one character that just
yeah,
the dumb one or
yeah, the dumb one, or he's the angry
Or the-
hothead, you know, he's
yeah,
the
the-
hothead that jumps to conclusions, or he's the asshole and she's the bitch, and
yeah.
you know, at least it wasn't like that. Like you can actually buy into these characters. By no means were they three-dimensional, fully rounded,
Mhm.
but at least like you know enough about them to get by within the 12 hours.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think in this one, the biggest thing I saw more of course, more of the action of what's really going on in the streets.
Mhm.
I did enjoy seeing the different types of masks, and I mean, there's some of them were like really creepy,
Yeah.
and the guy with the cross
Mhm.
on his.
Oh yeah, the guys
mask.
that were rounding people up.
Yeah, they were just running people because they wanted money. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to. Oh, they want to kill them and just toying with them. But no, at the end it was like, oh no, we need money. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
for
And
a
I was like,
second.
oh wow, like I didn't know that.
Yeah, for a second I did kind of like that. I really couldn't gauge them because it
I
was
like that.
they're like, oh, they're gonna go after these people, which they do, but not in the way of like, oh, they're gonna just hunt them.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they're like Carmelo Jones people,
Mhm.
you know, and they're actually gonna help them. It's like, no, they're just there to round people up to get money
To
and
get
they
money.
leave.
They made me think of like if they were like a parallel to like the slave traders,
Mhm.
Yeah.
how they would round people up, because what they're actually doing is they're getting paid to like round people up in the streets, and they take them to where the rich people are purging, like in a
Yeah.
controlled environment, like.
And they're bidding for who wants to pay
Yeah,
Hunter.
Mhm.
and I didn't know until the last time I saw the movie for this review that the guy with the God mask,
Mhm.
the guy that does the little wave, you know, that's become
Yeah.
famous in the trailer.
Yeah.
Creepy one.
No, that's Andre from Get Out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh.
And if you're paying attention, the shot is really dark, like the way that James DeMonaco shoots it. But when he actually takes his mask off
Yeah.
and he's talking to him and he's explaining to him like it's kind of a good scene in the movie, because you realize like, wow, like this guy is even more sinister than like the ones that are just out, the mindless killers that are out there, like.
Because he's
Where
putting
he-
more thought into it.
But he just says it like cold as stone, like, well, we're not actually purging, like we just need money.
Mhm.
Like, and he just says it like with no emotion.
Yeah.
But if you really look, you can see that you can see his face, you can see it's him.
Yeah, and another part I liked, but it kind of disturbed me a little bit, was where the grandfather, you know, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed, and then he goes into the limo, and I was like, oh wow,
That was sick.
yeah. And at first I'm like, how did this guy get a limo? You know, it's like maybe he's secretly rich and he just he's just escaping and leaving him there. But no, then it turns out that
He sold himself.
this yeah, he sold himself pretty much to this family to purge him, or to purge on him, I guess, however you want to say, to purge him. So that he can receive money to give to the family.
Well, because he's terminally ill, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he has cancer or something like that.
yeah.
And the daughter is, at the beginning of the movie, buys medicine, which is really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, don't buy me the medicine. And I was like, oh, just take the damn medicine. I was actually involved in that, you know?
Yeah, where
And I was like, just take the damn medicine. And at least she's doing something nice. Like, don't be ungrateful.
yeah, exactly.
But then I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand why he did that.
Yeah, I was like, well, that was a waste of medicine.
Yeah, that was a waste of time.
I did think there were a few moments though where the characters did some like really like lame brain things.
Like what?
Like well,
Not
the
as bad
scene-
as a kid though, but yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. But like the part where they're hiding in their apartment and that Hector character
Oh yeah.
where he
Oh.
busts through
Yeah.
the barricade and he's just like shouting like, you know, it's my right, it was granted to me.
Oh yeah, that part was stupid.
Yeah.
Like she actually says like, we're back here and don't come back here. Like
Yeah, I know. When Kelly did
What
that, I
the
was like, yeah.
Like, I was kind of, and then she's the like tough, smart character in the movie,
Yeah.
the daughter, and like she was the one that did that. And it just seemed to add a character and something like
Yeah.
that no one would do.
I wouldn't do that. But then at the same time, I kind of put myself in her shoes. And I would probably just been freaked out, you know,
Yeah.
in shock.
But if you kind of think about it, and yeah, if you look at it, it is a dumbass thing to do,
But it's
to
a,
give your position away.
yeah.
But that's kind of how the character is, where she is confrontational and she
And it's fight, flight, or, you know, freeze. So the mom was like, okay, I'm gonna freeze.
But I mean, it's like they established that because she tells the mom, like she tells her mother, like she asks her where's the gun, and she says it's over in the kitchen. It's over in the kitchen. So from the dialogue, you know, like okay, they don't actually have a gun, so they're completely helpless, and she still like gives away there, and I was like, I didn't get like that part. I was kind of like I didn't understand like that was, and then that and the other couple, like the bickering couple.
Yeah,
the
they're
ones
gonna
that are-
separate.
That they're gonna separate.
She told his sister.
No, but I was like, they're like it's purge night already. Like it's the way that they set it up is it seems like there's maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes until purge,
I know, and then
until
why
the
are they
purge
still out
commences.
there?
Mm-hmm.
And they're out there like just buying groceries.
Like nothing.
And I was just like, dude, like if it was purge day, I would be like locked up.
Dude,
in a
I'd be locked
bunker somewhere like
A
early
week.
in the morning.
I'll
Like,
be there already a week before. I'd be
Yeah.
like, fuck that. I'm not gonna take any risks.
Because the Shane character even says later in the movie, like, we're not the kind of people that know how to survive on purge night. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but yeah, you were out like just running errands, like real,
Yeah, exactly.
real nonchalant,
Like
like
an
half
idiot.
an hour before the purge was gonna commence. And I
And
was
the-
just kind of like,
What they should have
And the whole-
done
and the
is
whole- and the
put
whole-
them in that situation where maybe something drastic happened like the day before, and they're like, shit.
well, I just think
No?
like it
Yeah.
would have been.
Well, then it
like,
would have been illegal.
Like James DeMonaco needed to come up with a more clever way to put these vulnerable
In
people in those circumstances where Frank Grillo's character had to rescue them.
Yeah,
Like maybe someone that was like, yeah, I want to purge, but then they start having second thoughts, and they're like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
I already knew what was gonna happen.
yeah, like
like-
with Kelly and her mother, yeah, like that was smart. How they got them out of the.
Oh yeah.
Like it made me think of that movie Breakdown with Kurt Russell,
Mm-hmm.
where the guy messes with his car.
Yeah.
So it breaks down on him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know what's gonna happen. Like, they were in the store buying groceries and they left their car there, and I was like, that band of purgers is good. Like they cut the brake line or something, like, and sure enough, like that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So they get stranded. Like, but I do like I have to admit though, I do like the montage in the movie where the purge first commences.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that one guy in particular, like, because they show like a bunch of crazy like gang members that like are using a bus,
Yeah.
and then they're just all crazy and loading their guns and all happy, like.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that one guy that like doesn't even have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
he just has like some kind of like double-headed axe or something. I don't know what is the guy that has like pig carved into his chest.
Yeah.
The little skinny guy with it's all. And I was like, see, that's somebody that I would be terrified of during the Purge.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's just out there with like a medieval weapon that doesn't even have a gun and doesn't even, like, it's so crazy they don't even give a shit about their own life. And they just want to actually like hack into people.
Yeah, that'll make you see like you're gonna probably suffer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no, I really did enjoy seeing the different types of masks, the costumes they were wearing, and the fear that it puts you there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't want to be walking with this guy, even though he's good at protecting you. I wouldn't stay with him. I would be like, I'm just gonna hole up somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But I think I liked the second one, this one a lot because the action was just, I kept it, I was invested through the whole movie.
Yeah, and like I said, the characters were two-dimensional. They weren't tropes. They weren't just strictly one-dimensional,
No.
in my opinion. But they weren't exactly fully rounded, like three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only supposed to know them just for 12 hours, and that's it. In terms of the movie, so you're supposed to just know them for the night, and okay, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe you can answer this question. I was asking Wormboy this earlier. It's like, you know how it gives you the timetable, like 7 o'clock or whatever, and like 7:09.
Oh,
You know.
about I think I know what you're doing.
What is
Yeah,
the
about the
question?
emergency services, where somehow all the cops and the hospital staff are already there. And it's like, how is that possible? Like, did they barricade themselves in the hospital? Then why didn't people break in? You know,
Were they at
or
home?
Well, like
drove
one
over
of
there?
one of the complaints that I've heard a lot, like online and stuff about the Purge is like how does it work? Like there's different time zones in the
Mhm.
country. Like so.
Yeah. It was California, right? I think that's where it's at. In Los Angeles. That's what I thought.
yeah, well that and the thing is, if everyone's supposed to go home, or at least get secure at home, that means that the hospital staff or police would have to travel, like during purge time to get to work at 7,
Yeah.
you know, just so they can start helping people out, you know, or they barricaded themselves in there and had to, basically they had to stay there because
Yeah,
it's
the
like
time should have been maybe 10. That'll be more
Yeah.
like
more realistic, where it's like,
as
where,
opposed to 7:09. Like you had to be at the hospital already,
yeah,
or you drove really fast, or you teleported.
yeah, exactly, and then, you know, like I could buy at least where it's like, well, the purge ends at 7, but emergency services and everything go online like at 8 or 9.
Yeah, and then to me, I think that's just nitpicking, but I understand where
It
you're coming
is,
from.
but still,
It makes
Like, it
sense.
doesn't break the movie, I think.
my nitpicking makes sense here.
No, it does, but at the same time, this movie did
I still
have
enjoyed it,
another...
I still enjoyed the movie.
Well, see, like another thing that I thought was pretty bad writing because it's something that like, and it's something that like all the rich characters in the movie like collectively do that's stupid, is when they're rounding up the people
Mm-hmm.
to use like basically like as the prey, and they have like this.
The world's most dangerous game.
Yeah, they have like this controlled environment.
But
you
it
know,
wasn't controlled.
where they use, where, you know, the rich people purging in there get to choose these, you know, really high-tech weapons of their choice, and they get to use night vision goggles, and it's real dark in there, but the victims don't get to use night vision, so you're thinking, so I guess they're thinking like, oh, we're totally safe in here, even though these people are gonna be desperate and fighting for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I thought was like stupid, I guess, like I don't know another word, is like they don't even know who the people are. They're just like rounding up any people on the street they can find, and they're paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't know what kind of training these people can have. And that's how, you know, they end up getting taken out by Frank Grillo's
And on
character.
on top of that, they also mentioned how, like, 2 brothers or whatever, they're like, oh, this is their first time doing this, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, they're not gonna.
To
But
me,
it's like I wouldn't feel safe. I'm like, but do we know these people? Do we know what kind of training they might have?
to
Like,
me,
you
it
know what I
would.
mean?
Yeah.
To me, I guess I can kind of counter that and say that they wanted to do it as quick as possible. So, you know, they didn't have enough time. I know they should have. I would have. I mean, if I'm paying for this, I go, what kind of people are these? But they're like, okay, who's next kind of thing. Okay, you bid it, you're next, you know, keep it going kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I think they could have done a little bit. I think in terms of the writing, it could have been a little more. I mean, well, how do I say this?
Because it's 12 hours.
Because what's really kind of fueling that, like the whole thing, like, oh, we have the night vision goggles and this and that, and they're rich, is the fact that they are arrogant and it's hubris that does them in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, wow, look at you now,
They're like,
motherfucker.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like,
I mean,
we have the upper hand.
Yeah.
You would just think
But
that
they
they
don't.
would be smarter than that. Like a person would have common sense. Like I want to know that this is a completely vulnerable person
Yeah, just-
that isn't a highly skilled, like trained assassin in essence, like Frank Grillo's character.
Just because somebody's rich doesn't mean they're smart.
Yeah, it's
You
just,
heard it here, folks.
yeah, everyone should know that, folks.
Yeah.
No, but that's not what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you would think like a person that's going into a dangerous situation like that voluntarily, like they would want to know like they're covered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost like, hey, I have the gun. I'm gonna in this room. I'm gonna hunt this boar, and then you underestimate it, and then it gores you, and then starts
You're done.
eating your face.
No, well, I mean, because it's like, that's still a person against a person,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
with no barriers, like, that person could still get the gun away from you and kill you,
Mhm.
like, and then especially if they're like really,
What they
really
should've-
well trained.
What they
which
should
don't
have done
even know
is
they're
cut
not.
off their arms
Yeah.
and their legs, and that would have been more manageable.
Yeah, but knowing them, they'd be like, well, where's the fun in that? It would just, you know, they might as well go quail hunting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much shit in this movie, but I think overall, I mean, I'm being honest, I think the grade I would give it would be probably a B minus,
Yeah.
the way I would grade it.
Yeah, I would give it slightly above, actually a little bit more above part one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I would give it like a B to a B minus.
Yeah.
I would say, like, there's a lot of problems with the writing, but
Yeah.
I would probably give this one like just the fact that it's like very thought provoking. Like I would give it, and it's originality. I would say this one maybe like a B, probably just a B, to a B plus, maybe a B plus. Like I like how, like to me, what always terrifies me when I think about this movie is like how many people are out there, you know, that you'll walk by someone, you know, like at Walmart, some real mundane part of your day,
Mm-hmm.
and like you have no idea like the demon, the monster that's inside this person, like, and the only thing holding them back is like their knowledge of the repercussions, like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all that's stopping them. And if the purge was actually real, they would have like no problem.
No
like,
limits.
Yeah.
Well, other than you can't use grenades or something.
Yeah.
What class?
Class,
4
like-
weapons.
Yeah,
It's
like
like-
above
But they don't
class
even
four.
explain what class 4 weapons are. Like I wanted like a list of them. That's another thing I forgot to mention, which I'll mention in part 3. But
Who knows? Maybe they'll do it in the first purge. Maybe they'll establish it there.
hopefully.
Because it is a
Because
prequel,
what is a
so-
class 4 weapon? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not military, you know, I don't know. I don't work for the government.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that in the new one that comes out
They'll explain
on July,
everything.
like they'll explain the details a little bit more in terms of what's considered what kind of weapon and whose bright idea was this. Like it says the new founding fathers, but who thought of this?
I don't know.
Who thought of this shit?
I know since we're wrestling fans, all of us, I was thinking of the New World Order.
The new world order.
I pictured them like, oh, it's the New World Order. No, it's just something else on the side.
That'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of funny hearing like the Patriots like pray
Yeah.
to the new founding fathers and it's NWO.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's a good movie. I think it's the best of the trilogy, and I look forward to see the prequel.
Yeah, and then we can say which movie's the best one, like in complete certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just watch the movie,
Alright.
guys.
Yeah.
Leave a comment, leave a message.
So
follow us.
but really quick, would you recommend it to see this at theaters? If they were to show it?
Nah, no.
I
Yeah.
remember what we were saying, like
I wouldn't watch this in theaters.
there's a lot of unnecessary shaky cam.
Oh yeah,
In the
that was
movie.
annoying. I forgot to
Like,
mention that.
the camera work in this movie is not like the best quality.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll get into that when we get into part 3.
has a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm Wormboy.
Damien.
And Toots.
We'll see you guys next time and look forward